All right, let's get this already. What we do, as we always do, right, is zoom out. We were looking at that correlation with the dollar yesterday. As you can see, as the market went up, the dollar came down. Same thing. But we'll switch over here to the. What's up?
I don't see a live stream.
Oh, let me see.
Your screen's not on.
Yeah.
Okay, now it should be.
There we go.
What we see on the monthly, right, is just basically we're trading inside the previous month's range still. So we are seeing a temporary pause, at least, right? We're not getting that immediate continuation. It's kind of leading us to think, okay, we've got to be a little bit cautious here, right? Because the monthly basis is so far, or right, the monthly low is so far away that that's really the only way to kind of be successful, I guess. If you're a seller, right, that's how you know you were successful, if you break the previous month's low. And so buyers, knowing that, might be a little bit more relaxed when it comes to buying pullbacks compared to how they were the previous month, right? And if we look at the weekly here, you can see, right, the weekly was one time framing up for a while here, basically since May. And then the past couple of weeks, we've kind of just traded sideways. So the weekly is coming into balance, right? Monthly is still kind of one time framing higher. The weekly is in balance. And so we switch over to the daily, and you see the daily has, is actually one time framing lower and has a big gap ahead of it, right? So signifying, that's how you know that there's some change, right? We get our trends there, like our monthly trend is up, our weekly trend is balancing, right, neutral, and our daily trend is down, right? So what can you decipher from that, because they're kind of contradicting, is you can decipher that it may be a higher risk trade, right? And that's kind of what you can gather from that. You really should never be trying to gather direction from your analysis. And this is just something, I guess, like I was talking to my buddy Nick and explaining it to him, and he's just getting into trading now, about what you should be trying to kind of decipher from your morning analysis, or why do it, right, if it's not beneficial. um and that thing should be the market ebb and flow. Like you should really, like, uh you really just want to be kind of noticing, okay, well, what's the market doing right now? Is it because of the situation, right? If you have the monthly one time framing up, the weekly one time framing up, and the daily one time framing up, well, then pullbacks are probably buyable, right? Because the fucking market's just kind of going up. But in this situation, right, we kind of have our first couple signs of change, right? That one time framing to the downside from the daily, and then the neutral on the weekly lets us know that we need to exercise caution, right? So even on some pullbacks, if we're looking to buy pullbacks, right, because the market still is trending to the upside, right, as you can see, on the daily, even though the daily is one time framing down, the market is still making higher lows. Right now, if we get a breach of this 43.66, which I don't necessarily think is impossible, we could even still pull down into that range and maintain trend, right? So it's not out of the question, at least, like, there's not like a way really to explain that it can't happen, right? And so you really have to kind of take that into your consideration and not get too attached to a position, because right now, you know, eh, it could just keep going up from here, but it might not keep going up from here also. And so getting in the middle of this range, when we really look at it, right, where this gap is below, which is like 4350, and then basically the top of this range, which is like 4500, you have a 150 point range in here, right? So that's a pretty big range if you're just day trading. So you really want to be picking your spots. Now, if we break the high, it's nice and easy because we break the high, we go with it. This day we only bought, or like basically this whole balance, we're just buying pullbacks, buying pullbacks, buying pullbacks. It was a back and forth day, broke up, and I mean, kind of the same situation. It's just this was kind of a return and then a pop up. It kind of looks like a flag, honestly, if you draw it like a technical analysis. Um, but who knows how long this pattern can last, right? We saw a pattern similar on a even bigger scale than that last, for like ever. It felt like just back and forth, right? And so here's what I'm kind of gathering from that longer term, that if we pull back down to this gap and hold above that 4300, then we could just kind of balance higher. And typically the market likes to bounce before it breaks a significant level. Well, if we kind of remember correctly, the 4,000 was like the big level that we kept going back and forth, but we could never really hold above 4,100 because we would always go back below it. And we like that 4,137 level. We really kind of traded on that, broke above it. 4306 was a key level from the past and a key level from this previous balance, the high of it. So if we come back and reject that area, that could be like a significant spot to get a longer term pullback on a bigger scale. But if we don't, then you can basically just start counting on us coming back down to these moving averages. I think we might not necessarily break the low too, because we really have, how much time do we have? I mean, I guess this isn't really that important. Just something to think about long term. Like if you're putting in money long term, um, we made a lower high here, low. That doesn't really count because it's a lower high again, higher low. This is a higher low, higher high inside of this lower high, and so now we finally made a higher high. Right, so here's a high, here's a high. These are kind of inside highs, so they don't really count. This is a higher low, and now this is a higher high. Really, the trend here is up, and even if the market were to pull back down to like this area, or even really here, like the 200 moving average, it would still be in trend to the upside here, longer term. And so it's really tough to get like super bearish, um, as far as like every day, like, oh, well, we're just gonna keep selling every single day. That's super difficult. Um, on the profiles here, let me pop the profile. Yesterday, basically, we ran into a liquidation, and I think it was Thomas that explained it really well yesterday. That we had a liquidation, right? It looked like a B-shaped profile. That B-shaped profile got excess, and you got basically a straight V recovery. I think Doped was talking about the V recovery. And then we basically settled at the high, but with a poor high, right? With a gap unfilled to the upside. Um, as far as what's going on now, we have the settle yesterday 44.47. um I was really watching the 44.44 level, um but today it will be 47. And it makes sense because it's the top of this volume. It's kind of hard to see because that line's there, but it's like basically right at that top ledge, and that's going to be kind of, this would be kind of like your no go zone basically. Um, if you get a break above into these single prints that comes back down and can't break back below the settle, then I think that we have a good chance to close that gap. If it can't and it comes up here and just fails, well, then I think that next logical place to test is the excess. What is interesting here, and we'd have to add a little bit more volume, which kind of ruins it, um, at least for right here. Add like, right, so if you look at the volume profile for the last 10 days, which is basically this move up and then our move back to the middle, you can see most of the volume actually occurred up at the high, right? So definitely some overhead supply, I'm assuming. So an area in here that comes in and fails and gets accepted back below the settle easily could go for like a longer term swing and back into these single prints where we know we still have some trapped sellers from the bottom of the move. Right? Because if we assume that dumb money, like smart money trades like this, right? Because they're big, is that they buy on the or they sell on the way up and then they buy them back on the way down. Right? They buy on the way down and then sell on the way up. That's just how they trade. But we can assume dumb money, right, sells the bottom and buys the high. So what happens is they use these points to rebalance the inventory. And so as we're coming down, they're buying, right? Maybe not so frequently, but they're buying, and then when we get to that point where dumb money sells the low, right? They'll start selling because they'll start selling to the people having to buy their positions back. And then once they rebalance their inventory, then we'll basically get an idea of direction. But like we always say, like the market needs to take care of old business before it takes care of new business. And it's just like such a pretty easy picture here because there's really no volume traded in this gap. So it's tough to be like, okay, well, this, you really have to see how it trades up here. If there is just a swift rejection, I would probably abandon buying pullbacks, except for lower off of this ledge, like that 20 area. It's tough, really, and that'd be even with a tight stop because I think there's opportunity to trade down to that 43.97. Um, Morning Infinity, morning Roach, morning Lucky. But I really don't want to be getting long anywhere else besides here. Maybe, I mean, except maybe down here, unless we start to firm up above that 47. So we're gonna open below that 47 because we open in 5 minutes. But we'll be above the open. We'll be above the settle. There'll be some long opportunity from up here. But there also be some fade opportunity. And I mean, large gaps typically don't fill on the first day. So I'm not really expecting it to fill today, maybe, but if it does, or if it's gonna, typically we should see a strong move out the gate. We should open, power probably over the settle, hold the settle, power up. That would really be the only way that I would assume that we're gonna close the gap. And today's still, I mean, we're not opening on a gap, we're opening inside yesterday's range, but it's still a higher risk day because of this gap that's above and that's so large, and it's a Friday. So make sure that you're managing some risk today. Today's not really a day to try to risk it for the biscuit. I think we'll get plenty of opportunity here early. It might slow down in the afternoon once they've done what they wanted to do, but VIX is down. Bitcoin caught a bid a little bit as well. We have a double distribution from overnight too, so that would even kind of more confirm that we need to see the market stay above that 47 if it's going to catch any upside. And honestly, like I'm saying, like if it can't, I think that you can probably fade it from this area as well. Um, and but you might want to be a little bit more patient. If it gets up there the first time, you'd like to see it get a pop and then fail and then hold below, I think. If you see strong selling off the open, that would be a failure to get back up there. I think that would be a go with, and then you'd be looking down for this like 22, 24 area. You just have like a clear low at that distribution where poor low, mechanical low, stack single prints, like, you know, we have pretty easy bounds that we want to trade now, as far as if you're looking for a reversion to the mean type of deal with this distribution. Because we have a gap above, unfair high, these single prints below signifying the unfair low. Anything you take in the middle, right, you can't get too attached to because it could be going either way. You know, on the zigzag setting on Sierra charts, you can actually change the calculation mode, and number two is a lot better than number one. There's the open. Let's see what we get here. So some immediate offering coming in off the open. You get that big buyer, big bid on the 36. It was a big area yesterday too. Big offer came in on the 30 to 35.
Volume seems to be a bit low.
High volume?
Yeah, well, I just did AMD and NVIDIA. The opening volume is lower than what I would expect. Oh, no, not your audio volume. The
Oh,
actual
okay.
volume on the thick. Sorry. No, your volume sounds fine.
Nasdaq breath is actually stronger than the icy breath here. And financials carrying most of the weight. Healthcare is actually down from yesterday. Tech is as well. Nvidia's breaking lower. Apple's trying to break lower. Microsoft's trying to hold. So this is an area where if we see something, we could probably qualify it against that 47 if we see the market fail right here. 3-point range. Just keeps going. Look at the Nasdaq breadth has doubled now. It was just 2 to 1 when we just said that. Now it's 4 to 1. IC breadth has picked up as well, almost 3 to 1. Oh, what the fuck? And now it switched. Offer comes in, 44. See those 47.89 get stuck there on the 42 quarter. For them to reoffer, they are. A bit of a bid there. Watch how it acts at 42.50. If it gets a bounce here, you got to cut it quick. Kind of fading the momentum there, but nice. Trades through. Right back to it. Reoffer. Nice. So I'm talking. Took one off at 40.50. Have to take the other one down to 35. $38. Apple broke the low. Let's see if Microsoft starts to turn down, then this thing should trade lower. Be a good spot to manage some risk too here at this 40. It's not really. I stop at 41.75.
Volume's low. So I don't know if the bot will get in.
Yeah, maybe a lot of the traders probably did their business there in the free market with that unemployment and non-farm
Well, I
unemployment
got enough
change.
volatility from it for sure.
Yeah, it did.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can.
Oh, okay. And you pretty much had to mark it in at that, right?
On what? On that short?
Yeah, on that short. I mean, I didn't get filled.
I
I mean,
kind
it
of
was going
jumped
back.
in.
danced around like up here before it actually like made a low there. It was like, I mean, it came up, but then came back down, but it was like right around this 44, 43 level for a while
Yeah,
there.
I jumped in. I jumped in at
Well, I mean,
44
like,
half. I just dropped
yeah,
my
I
order.
had a, yeah, I think I had my entry at like 40. Yeah, right at about 44. I guess it was just late.
44 is a good entry.
Yeah, but I did
Yeah.
get filled. It didn't go back up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, after it came up and then came back down. Oh, okay, I see what you're
It came
saying.
up and then it came back down.
Yeah, what did it come up to? It came up to, yeah, like 43.50. Yeah, because it
Yep.
stayed around
It
here,
didn't
like
quite make 45.
it's like 41 to 42 area. Didn't hold though, traded right down to that 34 and then bounced. I don't have the position on anymore. I closed the last one at 38.
I got myself one of those fancy Trade-Evade accounts on Apex.
Oh, is Tradeovate nice? I've never used it.
Well, I'm I'm out and about, and I'm looking at my tablet. They got footprint part on your on computer. They have TPO included, which is
Oh,
nice.
that's
But
pretty cool.
it's really limited TPO. You can't separate the bars. You can't, as far as I know, you can't separate. It's always collapsed. Um, but I mean,
You
it
can
is
do
cool that
it if you
TPO is
right
included.
click it.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I mean, I still haven't learned the platform, so maybe there's, yeah, I have a lot to learn. Anyway, I'm just gonna play around with it today. Be very cautious.
Yeah, let us know. Well, and when you start like messing around with the system too, let us know if you find out anything cool so we can. Because I think there's a couple people on Tradeovate too.
That's what I use.
There's another big trade there on the 40. That was kind of nice too. That trade, like it all just kind of lined up. I got up there. The breath on the Nasdaq was like 4 to 1, and then all of a sudden it just like cut in half. And then the market just kind of fell out a little bit. But I'm not sure that I trust that. Like, kind of it's kind of weird.
I really like that Tradeovate has the footprint on. I'm looking at it on my tablet, my Samsung tablet. Like, seems pretty good.
Yeah, I wish I could get like a. I just use Chromecast now. I just screen mirror and just leave my computer on. But it would be nice if the program was like on my market will just do nothing for the rest of the day. Stuck. How much for the Nasdaq? Pretty slow market all of a sudden, huh? It's kind of, I think.
Counts are pretty limited, so I'm not sure the bot's even going to get in.
Yeah, probably for the best anyways. It's not really doing anything. Even though Nvidia opened up on a gap higher. 24 still down though. Tesla's up. Okay. That is going down. That's hilarious.
Do you guys know what's up with this whole like Twitter suing Meta over this Threads app launch or whatever? You heard
Yeah,
anything?
some supposedly they stole some
Oh, I got a count on team one.
proprietary
But
uh,
all counts, right?
proprietary information or some shit. But I
Oh,
will
okay.
say that if you download Threads and you have Instagram, you can't delete Threads. There's like a stipulation in that little contract when you download it that says if you download Threads, you can't delete Instagram or you can't delete your Threads or else you have to delete your Instagram also.
No way. Like
Yeah,
forcing to maintain users.
exactly.
locked in,
So he
bud.
can keep them. Yeah, that's super smart.
What is Threads? So what kind of app is it?
It's like Reddit basically. It's like Twitter. It's like a it's like
Oh, okay.
it's the same thing people do in the comment section on Instagram. It's not going to work. People aren't going to comment twice on the same shit because it's going to be about pictures. It's just not going to happen. But I mean, who knows? Maybe people need another thing to fucking fill their time because who knows? Like I think that's like some of the dumbest shit ever. Like talking about a picture, commenting back and forth about a picture is like the dumbest shit ever. Like a movie, that's different, right? Something's actually changing, but like one picture, like how much can you have to say? I don't know if there's a DOM on Trade of 8. I'm not sure. I'm not on Trade of 8 Infinity. Not sure. And honestly, like I really like my Seer chart, so I won't be switching. Like it just stops working or something.
Man, all that volume in the overnight session right above yesterday's high. Looks like it just like ran and grabbed everybody's stops.
At that low.
The overnight high. There's just like that chunk of volume at the top, like right above
Oh,
yesterday's high.
yeah, that's that impulse zone. Yeah, that was from the news. That spike.
Yeah, like around 52 or whatever. It's a lot
Yeah,
of volume.
I had a buy, an overnight buy at 49 quarter, and it never hit. I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, too bad you didn't leave it in. It would have got filled and then would have taken it all the way down to the low. Or would have taken it to 31.
I, well, yeah, well, it would have done. I mean, it would have had a 5-point stop or 5-point exit, so would have. No,
Oh, just by like fucking by the hair of his chinny chin.
so the bot did not get in, but I opened up the trades based on the fact that there were call counts at a certain time. So we'll see what it does. At the very least, it'll be able to track it. But it would have gotten in calls if it had done it that late because I've only gotten call count so far, just FYI.
Oh, okay.
But I can fake it in my little page that tells me what it's supposed to be doing so that I can watch it as it in the chart. And I told it to do the buy, so I'll be able to see how it does or when it gets out. Today might be one of those days where I wish that I had gotten it to that, where I had done that, set it up so that it would, that I could just say, get into a trade, and then it just sort of takes over and runs. I will one day have that.
A button.
I'll just have a little open a trade button and it'll open the trade and then it will play it just like it normally does right now. I'll be able to tweak it. I mean, I can set my profit target for it and potentially add some other caveats.
Is there an indicator where you get volume delta? Oh, in Trade of 8? I'm not sure. Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be an opportunity to fade from the gap above. Yeah. Sure. I'm looking at like the area that I have marked 64. Like 64 to 68 basically. Morning, Dan. Nice. Monday. Right off of that 51, huh? Was that 50.75? Close. Look at the NYSE Brett's actually passed up the NASDAQ. 3-1 now. 3.25 to 1. NASDAQ breath is holding steady at 2. NASDAQ is looking pretty good. NASDAQ's above yesterday's high already. Even the Dow is looking kind of strong here. Few minutes until the next period opens up.
Were you looking for any longs at all, Brad?
You could. I think there's a possible breakout here if you didn't buy the pullback. Um, there is a possible breakout here if it does break out. I think. Yeah, and like I said,
Yeah.
I think maybe like up to like the 60 area, 64.
Yeah. Yeah, when B opens up, if it takes the A high, if we get like a liquidity candle and can't fill the gap in it, I was kind of thinking of taking, if that scenario plays out, you know.
Right.
If we pop
Yeah.
above it and then flush back through the liquidity candle, of course you could short against the same spot. But kind of like a look above and fell kind of thing.
Yeah. That. Wrong offer came in.
One of the bots would have sold. I lied. 2 of the bots would have sold. So that would leave 2 left.
And so basically, like right here, if you are long, right, you got long on that little push down right there. It doesn't just flush this high. Like if you don't see stops come out, then you really just want to abandon this look. Struggling for sure. That wasn't really what we wanted to see there.
The other bot sold. There's still 1 left. But based on the indications of the other 3, I would have guessed it should have sold. So I would say the bots would have been out.
Big offer coming in there, 49. Kind of control shifts up here. Back towards yesterday's high. There's decent odds that we just push back down, to be honest. Like, the breakout was just weak as fuck.
Yeah, it seems like they'd want to like pop it a little, see what's up there, and then flush or something.
Yeah, at least get the liquidity, you know? Because you know there's a ton of liquidity up here. You got the liquidity off the overnight session, and then you've got liquidity off of yesterday's high.
Yeah, I have more confidence.
Mark of the beast here,
to blow off
53.
top
Get more confidence. What?
I would say like the blow off top, like when the button come back in, would be more confidence than just like this poor high. I don't know if it's gonna hold. I don't know if they're gonna retest it. You know.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a 44 half. If they don't break the high, I think I'll buy 44 half. Looking for a run back up to test the high. Depending on how many longs they get stuck up here, but so far it don't look too bad.
I still don't have like a high volume candle up here, so that's what I'm kind of waiting for. And then I'll look at like where the candle after the high volume candle is, kind of place stuff off that.
Well, we've got a poor high at the same high, so a weak high, and then a weak low here on B as well. Pretty clear defined levels here. Probably take a breakout of either side. Break this low, we should get a short, like we should get a bunch of shorting because a bunch of longs should liquidate. See, they can't even break the low, so there's no supply there, and the longs aren't willing to flush. If we break the high here, then we should flush up at least to the 53. And you can pretty much just go with those on either trade because that's just a scalp, right? The high is 51. You're just trying to scalp to 53. It's like just a go with trade. And like a trade like that, for me, at least the way that I execute those trades is as they break, I'm in, right? Looking at the order flow, but I'm pretty much having to force my way in. And then I'm looking to get out immediately. So as soon as I can put a stop and profit, right? I want the trade to be in and work. And right away, or else I'll be out. If it crosses 44.52, it can reach 44.62. Yeah, I'd like to see it up like 64. Be like, yeah, 62, 64 area. Oh yeah, Zoe, I was just saying like if we break the high here, you could probably like try to scalp it from like 51 to like 53. And if we break the low here, like this 47, you can probably try to scalp that down towards that 42. Like three points or 2 points, like a little opportunity, I think, here. Just because it's such a they're both weak levels. So if we break the 47, we'll probably run back down to half back for the point of control from the Globex session.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy the 44 half now. They got too many longs stuck. They're trying to buy it up and it won't go.
Yeah, exactly. But they haven't
If it
quit
just ran
yet, so
down
there's
there
no.
quick,
Go ahead.
if it just ran down there quick, I would have bought it. But they're struggling here.
Yeah, that would have been
Right
nicer if
there,
it came
even.
down.
It's like a two-sided auction right here. Right?
Exactly. But buyers
Buyers
are
are stuck
like
on 8 quarter.
buyers are weak and sellers are weak at points of inflection, basically. Like sellers are weak at the low, buyers are weak at the high. Like as we get down here to this low, it's such a tough task. Like you're like, oh, I could try like try along here, but you need to have a stop of like 47. So you can do the same thing like kind of inversely. But it's to me it's just looking like it wants to just get a flush on either side before it's going to do anything. So, but you could play the opposite of that too, that kind of reversion to the mean play.
They got back above that 8 quarter. They had longs stuck there.
Yeah, there's 6. That was a pretty big order too. 49. There's a break. We'll follow through. What level were you looking for, Roach? 44?
44.5 area. I could definitely see this 46 holding too, but I was being a little more conservative. There's more shorts stuck a little bit down on the
Yeah,
4.5.
they couldn't get through that weak spot, that's for sure. A little bit of a pop there too. Off that 47 half.
Finally showing a little bit of strength.
Welcome to summer. Been in like a 7-point range for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, we need some war news or natural disaster or something. Some volatility.
Yeah.
It's just like whose line is it anyway? Where everything is made up and the points don't matter.
I love that show.
Me too.
I heard that what's his face? Wayne Brady is a dick in real
Well,
life. Somebody told me that.
Yeah, I heard
I,
that
I,
too.
I, I think I saw a TikTok about that he was kind of a jerk.
A lot of comedians are fucked up though. You know what I mean?
That's how they. Yeah, there's something a little bit off with them. Like that's like their creative genius.
Yeah, yeah,
Because like a lot of people think Jim Carrey's a fucking weirdo too, but
yeah,
he's funny as fuck.
yeah. He's good. I liked
He's,
Farley. I loved Farley.
oh
Oh,
yeah, Chris
hell yeah.
Farley.
Yeah, that whole
He's
crew though.
freaking
Norm
hilarious.
Macdonald, Adam
That's why.
Sandler, Norm Macdonald.
You seen Tommy Boy? Didn't I ask you if you'd seen Tommy Boy? You said no.
Oh yeah, I saw a bunch. Yeah, I love.
Oh okay. I love that movie. I've seen that movie so many times.
Yeah, yeah,
That was like one of the movies I had on VHS as a kid, so I would watch that shit like all the time.
yeah. I always said I'm not. I don't even like celebrities. I wouldn't want to meet them or not. But I always said if I had one chance to go out on a night with like Sandler and like the little blonde headed guy. What's his name? That whole crew
David
though. There's a
Spade.
crew of them.
David Spade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's funny as fuck
Spade,
too.
Sandler, Farley, maybe. Like, could you imagine going out one night with them guys in a park? Like, they're probably
Oh,
fucking
if you're going
nuts,
out,
you know?
if you're going out with Farley, your night's gonna be a little bit
Yeah,
different than if you're going out with fucking Adam
yeah.
Sandler.
Yeah.
And like Norm Macdonald, he's real fucking. He was nuts.
Yeah. He seemed like an angry fucker, Norm Macdonald.
I don't know. He's just a. He was like just a. He's like a degenerate.
He was a cocaine addict.
Yeah, they're
Norm
all
Macdonald
druggies.
was?
Farley.
I know
Was.
Farley was. I didn't know Norm was.
Norm
Oh,
was a
Norm.
big.
Yeah, he'll do it. Whatever. Anything.
He
probably
got
did every
sober.
drug under the sun.
Yeah, Norm Macdonald did he did hella drugs with Chris Farley, but he got sober.
Yeah, he did straighten out.
Bro, was that liquidation or no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
looked like
Yeah, the
it to
first
me. They're getting stuck on the 46. That's the only thing.
I'm long here.
Oof. Fucking
Stop
risking it for
is,
the biscuit, huh?
I got a super. Yeah, I got a tight stop. 44 even. I'm in at 45 half. Yeah, it flushed me out.
Yeah.
I say I'm short here.
I don't want to say anything.
I thought I could get a pop. I wasn't looking for a big move. I thought it would pop. Honestly, the reason I took it is because if it bounced out of that area and I didn't take it, I would have been more pissed than taking it and taking the loss. I'm not
I
even
get
mad
that.
about the loss.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't even care. Yeah.
I moved my stop down just now, 43 quarter. It's back above there. I'll try to get out.
Did you short it?
Yeah, I'm short from 47 quarter.
I shorted the 49.25, but I got out. I think I should get off now. Or
You're like,
actually, I
"Oh,
would
no,
go on my sim account. There we go. I'm gonna switch
I
this shit over.
flattened out. Yeah, I just shorted it as it came back through the 47. But I'm out. I'm flat now. Closed it.
And this is the fastest. I don't think I've ever done a trade that fast. Shit, I'll take that though. Sim account now.
Wait till summertime, or wait till summertime's over. You'll have some fucking. Next year's gonna be a pretty volatile year. It's an election year, and typically they're more volatile than normal. A lot of times, like traders get made or broken in election years. I feel like.
Oh shit.
Especially with the crazy election we're gonna have. We should have.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking, Roach. Like I'm thinking that's exactly why, because like who can you like, I don't even know who you can pick. Like you can't pick Biden. He's just not gonna make it. He's too old. Right? Like, and I'm not saying that as an ageist, but he's just too fucking old. Like he can't do it. We're not taking Kamala. Nobody likes her. Like it's like an agreement in Americans. Everyone's just like, who? Kamala who? Like fuck her. So, like, who are our actual choices? Donald Trump supposedly is going to be in jail. So, you can't vote for him even if you wanted to. So, like, what are all those people going to do?
Actually, you can vote for him in jail.
You could no, when you're incarcerated, you lose your rights. Yeah, you can't run for president if you're
Yeah,
in
but I
jail.
think they either change that or they're trying to.
Here, watch. Google will let us know.
No, you can't. I know you can't. I want to become the president. I've talked about it like since I was a kid.
Yo, Brad for president. That'd be lit.
you can't do it if you get a but if he's in jail and not convicted, then he still could, I guess. But you have to be convicted of a crime, like of a felony. Actually, it has to be a felony. That's why they keep trying to get him with felonies, and he keeps like paying all this shit off and getting misdemeanors. Because who gives a fuck about a misdemeanor? When you're rich, you don't go to jail for misdemeanors. You know, that's just a fact of life. I get toppy again here.
I think Obama's husband there is gonna win.
Who's Obama's husband?
Michelle Obama. I think they're gonna run her.
Oh, never mind.
Oh,
Don't. I never
I
asked
wish.
that.
And these
I wish.
morons, these
Can we just
morons will
shorten
vote
it?
for her.
Can we just shorten it? Call her. Can we shorten it and call her Mobama?
Mm,
Mike Obama, they call her. Big Mike.
Mobama.
I think they'll vote for this country, and if they don't, they'll just cheat her in anyway. They don't care.
I actually really like Michelle Obama. Like, she has good ideas, but I just don't believe in like the nepotism part
I
of
hate her.
the election.
I hate her, and her husband was probably the worst president ever, other than Biden.
No way.
Really? There's no
Oh,
way.
definitely.
Oh,
yo,
no.
to top Biden is pretty hard.
The worst ever?
No, I'm saying Biden's worse than Obama, but under Biden, it would be Obama would have been the worst.
What was it that you didn't? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong, but what was it that would really like sort of seal the deal for you from a he deserves to be
Well, when he
lynched
fucked up,
standpoint?
all he did was come in and do Obamacare and screw everything up, screw everybody's health care up, and then he did nothing. He golfed for 3 years. He didn't do nothing. He did speeches and golf, and
Yo, golf's
I'm
so
sure he
cool.
did other shit that I don't know about, but he did nothing good, nothing at
But
all.
Michelle did, though. While he was president, Michelle Obama actually got a law passed that makes it mandatory for the Food and Drug Administration to um, label like certain chemicals that they
labels.
add to labels. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a good move, but it was useless anyway because they still don't have to abide by it. They just lie, but it doesn't matter. Not a lie, but there's stipulations in there. Like when they say artificial flavors, that means anything they want. Anything they want to put in there
Yeah,
goes under artificial flavor.
yeah.
So it
that's
really
true.
didn't do nothing. It's all fucking. But yeah, I give her credit for that, but
We came back to that.
that don't make up for fucking up the whole medical industry and then all the insurances and everything and Obama phones and all that. They did, they fucked everything up. But
Hey,
I
Ben.
know that's why they put him in there to do that. You know what I mean? Like a puppet. He's a good speaker.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's honestly like, yeah. The actual president
everyone,
doesn't
though.
really matter. There's so
Yeah.
many people that are just like
That's
need to be
everywhere. Yeah.
out. Yeah. What's up,
Same
Nikki?
thing with Biden. They put him in.
I was just going to say, according to Politico, there are no legal obstacles to running for president as a convicted felon or even from behind bars, dated April 6, 23.
Really?
Yo,
what it
that's
said.
tough.
Yeah, I found
Trump
an
for
article
president.
of so basically the Supreme Court has said that what's in the Constitution are the only requirements you need to run for federal office. There's nothing barring Trump from running, basically.
Oh shit!
Wow,
You're
he's
gonna have a Hitler
freaking take his,
situation.
he's gonna have the guy come in there with the freaking Bible while he's in behind. They're gonna do it in prison, the inauguration.
Yeah, that's
No,
like
it's
Hitler.
not.
Hitler got out of jail, ran for president, and won. Like,
Yeah,
fucking.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, freaking chancellor. He was chancellor. Didn't have
So
Oh,
president.
same
Trump
thing.
would be second to do it
Same thing.
ever?
Trump's not gonna do it.
Come on.
They're gonna
There's
run
so
a
many chances.
RFK.
What's that?
Yeah, but he's Democrat.
Yeah, but there's a lot of Trump people that like RFK better
Oh,
than
yeah.
Trump. Like a lot of people that are 50-50 on those two, and I think they'd pick RFK over Trump. They're
That's why
similar,
they
but
need
they're
to run.
different. But That's why what?
That's why they need to run together. They'd get 70%.
Run to I guess that's true. They would never get along though. Both of them have egos, and they would never fucking. No one would. It wouldn't be like, oh, you be vice president, I'll be president. Like Trump
Yeah,
is
but
not going to be anything but
one's a
president.
Democrat and one's a Republican. They can't. They're unless they switch.
That's perfect. They should do that because then they could balance each other out. It's just they never would. That's what we should. We should get to pick. We should get to pick the party too. That's what we should get to do. Like, oh, you want a vice president? Well, give us some options and we'll pick one. Really,
Well, it
that's
used to
what
be
they're
that
there to
the second-
serve us. So
It used to be that the second runner-up was vice. So the president was whoever won, and then the vice would be whoever came in second.
oh, it used to be like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Then you at least have the majority of people who people voted for making decisions.
That's genius.
Challenging
The,
each other,
the issue is they couldn't really get things done because of course there was always bickering, and the vice president was doing things behind the president's back and backroom deals, and so they ended up saying, well, that doesn't quite work as well as we thought.
But that shit's still happening now. So whatever they're doing, whatever they changed it to, obviously isn't working either. So you need to come up with a. Because obviously picking your own party is useless. Just makes the president's life easy, and his job's not designed to be easy. It's designed to be hard. He's a fucking leader of the country, so it's
The
kind of
most
insane.
powerful country in the world.
Yeah, it's just a crazy concept. I'm the president. Just fly around the world, play some golf, shake some hands, kiss some babies. Like, how about no? Fucking solve some problems. Nasdaq's coming back down here, huh? ES and the Nasdaq are kind of just trading sideways. The Russell's actually looking kind of strong, and the Dow's actually looking kind of weak.
I'm trading NQ today.
Oh, you're trading the Nasdaq? Nice.
Yeah, might start being the better one in the summer if we stay real choppy.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to get in and out if it's a choppy market.
Yeah, yeah, you get more prices to get out at.
Yeah, third party would
Get a
never
little
win
better
though.
risk to reward. What?
The problem with the third party is that there's just not enough consensus.
Well, and the third parties don't get enough media coverage anyways, because really that's all it is like who gets
Right.
the most media coverage, and then if they still don't win, then we'll just cheat, make them win. I mean, and I'm not saying just this last election. I'm saying it like all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been cheating them forever.
I still remember, I don't remember what year it was, but there was a poster that says any functioning adult for 2022-04 or whatever it was. It was when Hillary and Trump are running.
Said any functioning adult what?
It was, so you know how you have like your candidate, instead of saying like Trump 2020, I guess it would have been 2020. It said any functioning adult 2020.
Oh. Yeah, that was a lose-lose situation as well, just like this next one.
Well, 2016 was Nope and Noper, which was Hillary and Trump.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That was a lose-lose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was no, and we're basically going to end up back there if we have Rubio and whoever, I don't know, whoever the Democrats pick.
Well, what will be interesting too is because there is some extreme motherfuckers running. So like, if what's his face from Florida wins, you know,
Rubio,
he's
I
pretty.
think isn't that Rubio?
No.
Or is it DeSantis? Sorry, DeSantis.
DeSantis.
It's DeSantis.
Yeah.
That's the guy. Not Rubio.
If he were to win,
I think Trump was the best president we ever saw.
What?
I think he was the best.
Better than fucking John F. Kennedy? No chance.
Or
Well,
Freaking
he's
Reagan.
before my time. You know what I mean? And probably Brad, because I believe Trump was probably the only one that wasn't a political president. He wasn't a puppet. He wasn't put in there with money. So he did common sense shit, and they don't like it.
You're talking about JFK, right? Or
No,
Trump?
no, no.
Oh, Trump.
JFK was a political president, and he was before my time. So it's hard for
Yeah.
me to say he was great or bad, But what I'm saying is, I believe Trump was
You
a
think Trump was better?
non-political
You
president.
think Trump was better than Reagan?
Yes. I mean, Reagan was good, but I looked up a thing online too. I don't know if anybody does this, but there's a list of bills that Trump passed. I mean, he did shit that was just it was great stuff. The phenomenal bills that he passed. Some of them they didn't allow him to pass. Uh, I mean, I know one of them comes to the top of off of my head that a lot of people wouldn't. He pulled the gag order off of pharmacists. Which, in my mind, why was there ever a fucking gag order anyway? I think Obama put the gag order on them too. In other words, if you go for a prescription and it costs you so much money and you can't afford it, the pharmacist is not allowed to tell you, "Look, I could give you this pill for this price. It's the same exact thing, but it's
Oh yeah.
cheaper." Not allowed to say that. It's illegal.
Some of them do though.
Why? Why would what?
Some of them do.
All of them do what?
No, I said some of
Still
them
do
do.
it.
Like if
Still
you get to
say
know your
some
pharmacist,
pharmacists.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
but they're no. That's now. Now they could do it because of Trump, but they couldn't
oh
do it
he
back then. Now,
oh he rescinded
if
it.
they did it, they could lose their license. What?
Right. No, okay. I didn't know. I didn't
And
know it
what
got
I'm getting at is
rescinded.
not. Well,
That's
Trump
that
did it,
same
but
Yeah.
pork belly shit that they pull where, somebody says, "Oh, hey, I need this
well,
or
it's Big
that,"
Farm. What do
and
you
they
think?
make some
Big Pharma
change
didn't
and
pay.
lobbying.
Big Pharma paid billions of dollars to some president. I think it was Obama, but I'm not sure. But Big Pharma put in big money to say, listen, don't allow these guys to fucking, do that. Which it's only common. It's just being a human being to say, listen, this is cheaper. Some old lady comes in, she's on Medicare, she can't afford nothing. You know what I mean? Now, maybe the pharmacist would do it, but he could lose his license doing it.
Right.
Back then anyway.
Yeah, that's
It's
kind of a
just being a
bullshit.
bad human being.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But that's how everything is. Everything with the lobbyists. The lobbyists are the huge problem.
But here's the problem: that the government has the ability of fixing that, and they're not because they want the money.
Right.
Well, definitely.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it, I agree. The same people that are being voted into office are the ones that keep pulling this shit and not fixing it.
Yeah. No,
Well,
I
the
100% agree. The
and,
system sucks.
well, we've had the same people in office too for like almost ever.
Yeah. Yeah, they got a strong arm on everything. I mean, nothing gets changed. You try to change it, they find you in the fucking river,
Yeah.
or you get politically ruined. You make up something.
Especially now with the internet, it's easy to fucking be like, listen, this is what you're gonna do, or else this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
So unless you're fucking
But
Abraham
that was just
Lincoln, never
one thing
told a
off the top.
lie, then you're fucked.
Yeah. That was just one thing off the top of my head, but there's a list of bills that Trump did, and they're all really good shit. And they say how racist he is. He did a lot of stuff for the black community, but the only thing he didn't do was give them free shit. You know what I mean? For sitting home.
Yeah, I mean, and like it's hard to really judge like his full presidency too, because COVID happened towards the end, and it's like really COVID didn't happen. The economy was actually doing pretty good, and he honestly probably would have gotten reelected.
That's why they brought out COVID. I think that's why they unleashed it at that time. They were going to do it anyway, I think, but
Because the
I
people
think they
do
had to
love
do it to
him.
get him out. What?
The people love Trump. Like they love him. That's
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
even like
That's
him as a personality.
that's a
I don't like the
dangerous.
guy.
Yeah, it is dangerous. It's dangerous because we're basically holding these people to a standard that they can't even live. But yep, for some reason we want them to lead a country.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying every president has to be moral. I'm just saying, I mean, I would even pick Bill Clinton and say that he, as much as he was immoral, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he did everything right. I'm just saying
I like
there
Clinton.
was definitely overlap between his personal issues and the presidency. But in the end, he kind of tried to do decent thing. I mean, obviously, there was a whole Congress impeachment thing that happened, which just added to the fuel to the fire. But I mean, if you have a president and there's just like a hurricane in his wake, like everything that he does is just like
Painted.
problematic.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is that I don't disagree with the fact that Trump did a lot of good things, but the problem for me is that the amount of divisiveness and danger that was caused because of the way that he went about doing some of the things he did caused caused a problem. And I'm not saying I don't, like I said, it's not about whether I like him or not as a person, because I don't
Yeah.
think I mean I don't like him, but because of all that other shit that we had to put up with and deal with, and being impeached twice, whatever all that shit
Yeah,
was,
but
That was not
that's
just
the
Trump's
thing,
fault.
Stacey.
They were
I'm not
That's
saying
the
it.
thing,
I'm
they
not
had
saying
it
it
Stacey.
out for
was.
him
Well, we're
day
not getting
one.
I'm
into
not
like a
saying
political
That,
debate
that's
on here. Like it's not.
it's not about
We
fight.
were,
It's not about. It's just about that's the problem. This is it. Anyway,
the,
and we can
the,
all
the
agree
divisiveness.
that
The
that we can.
divisiveness would have happened even if he was like Gandhi.
Well,
People hated him.
most of the stuff is a mental. Most of the stuff going on now is like a mental health issue.
oh yeah, for
And
sure.
so we can all blame Ronald. That's why I think Ronald Reagan's the worst president. He got rid of
Why?
insane
Why?
asylums. He got rid of insane asylums, and he did a bunch of shady shit. Bunch of
Oh
shady
yeah. Well,
shit.
Iran Contra, all the selling the Mujahideen
Bringing
weapons
cocaine into
so
the
that they could
United States to fight wars
so that
in
they could.
South America.
But
Like
I
I mean,
mean, it all comes down to economy, right? Isn't
All
that?
that all that decisiveness and that fighting with Trump, though, is because he was bucking the system, which is a good thing for the American people. That's why all that went on, because he was bucking. He wouldn't go along with everybody. He
oh
did what
yeah.
he
Well,
wanted.
and
That's my
I think a lot of the I think a lot of the like the issues that gets put in the media, like the race issues, I don't
yeah,
think
it's all
it.
bullshit.
I mean, I don't think it's bullshit because I've seen it happen in certain places, but it's not as big in
Yeah,
Yeah,
they made it way bigger for sure.
yeah,
the
I
country as
agree.
you would think.
Yeah, I'm not
And I've
saying
been all
nobody's
over the
racist,
country,
but a
so
little bit. Yeah,
that's the thing. Like a lot of people are like it's bad, but they only live like right where they're at, and they've never been anywhere else. Most people have never been anywhere else, and so like until you travel around and like meet all of the people in different places, you really can't have an opinion, I think. But most of the people that are having the opinion are people that have never lived anywhere else besides the fucking place they grew up or nearby. And so that's really, it's just like the country's just too big to be governed by one unity because there's just too many people in certain spots that need different rules to function normally. And then it's all fucking crazy.
there's just
Like
too much
In
corruption.
California, they need
That's the
everything to
problem.
be, they need to be given their money as opposed to earning it at a job.
Well, no, they need to be broken up. Like eventually I think like long term the United States will eventually break up into like smaller countries like Europe. Because what happens now is like let's say like, one of the states like grows like a ton of wheat, right? Like Ukraine grows a ton of wheat, right, for all of Europe. Um well, if they're getting invaded and they can't do what they normally do, um then the price of that wheat's going to go up. Well, who's going to make money on that? Well, the United States is going to make money on that. Like, let's say if it was, what state? I mean, pick a fucking state, right? Let's say Colorado grows a bunch of wheat. I don't know, but all of a sudden, there's fires in Colorado and they're not growing all this wheat. Well, wheat in the United States is going to go up, but they're not going to lose any money because they're going to use subsidies in order to get around that cost. Does that make sense? Whereas in reality, like Colorado itself would be able to charge more for the wheat than the money that the federal government gives them to kind of balance themselves out because of the fire, if that makes sense. And that's why
Yeah.
eventually all of these countries, like if they have, I mean, these countries will obviously pack together because not all of the states, actually provide uh, like something specific. You know what I mean? Like you played Catan, the settlements of Catan, right? The game. It's not like
profit
each
sharing.
exactly,
Ooh,
and
I love
they're gonna get
Catan.
over it. Oh, me too. I love
Yeah,
Catan too.
doesn't work.
So much fun.
Hey, my friend 3D printed an entire board all by himself and painted them.
That's pretty cool.
A lot of work. It's pretty cool
Took
though.
him like an entire summer.
There's like expansion
TJ said
packs
that
and
if we get
everything.
TJ said if we get above 47.5, that he thinks we take the high.
Yeah, he's probably right. I think.
It's looking that way.
Who said that?
That's for sure. TJ.
DJ.
I don't want to interrupt you guys.
No.
It
Well,
got,
yours
almost
is
got
more on
heated there for
topic
a second,
anyway.
huh?
I almost took
I
his
see
scalp
them.
long at 40. Um, but that 46 3/4 has where we got that liquidation has held and we push lower. So if that keeps holding, I think we probably rotate lower. But if they take that spot, I think we're popping the top.
Yeah, and that was a pretty weak look for them not to break the open too. They went all the way down there, like 10 handles lower, and then just couldn't take it.
Sealed the deal.
You took a
Yeah, on the
long.
1 minute chart,
Nice.
the big blue candle right there. That's like that liquidation break. And then when we came back up into that spot, we just couldn't trade through it because of all the longs that were trapped at the top.
Yeah, we can take a look at this coin thing, Clipper. Let's see, coin. This is what you're talking about, right? The Coinbase stock. Okay. I mean, it's pretty much matching up with Bitcoin for the most part. You overlay? There's a way to overlay. How do you?
Maybe that plus sign on the left next to coin. I think there might be a compare option.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted. Oh.
Yeah, the whole BlackRock ETF got Coinbase pumping.
Let's look at futures. We'll look at the Bitcoin futures because they match up with because they have the CME gaps as well, whereas Bitcoin futures wouldn't match up. We'll try to just capture this lower area, and you can see Coinbase kind of leading here, and Bitcoin's still kind of staying a little bit lower. Because what's Bitcoin trading at right now? Like 30,000, over 30,000 right now. But it is coming into like some previous peaks. Coinbase is kind of had that island top reversal pattern, filled the gap, and then traded lower all the way to the low. A lot of the downside too, though, in because here Bitcoin just traded sideways, Coinbase kind of reverted. They all kind of started trading up. But a lot of these big drops in Coinbase have been caused by Gary Gensler. Like I bet a lot of these peaks are related to news. So really, that's what I would be looking for. Look for the news to come out for Coinbase. I know we were talking about some news yesterday with maybe Gary Gensler possibly getting fired or whatever. We're saying it was AI generated. But if it does come out to be true, well then that would probably rocket this thing up. And you'd probably be looking here, 97, 98, 100 area. Because I mean, long term, it's still so beaten down. I mean, it's basically all it's done. Go down, so can't really be expecting too much of it. I don't think it's gonna. I think this is like a long, like you're buying Coinbase inside this area here, this $50 to $75 range, expecting it to go back to like 250, but like maybe 10 years from now. Like unless you see Bitcoin jump up to like 60,000, right? And that's just really implying. I mean, Coinbase is coming out with like more things. Now it's not just like a trading platform. They've got a bunch of other shit. They've got like a credit card, I think. They've got other shit on there. Coinbase, like you can pay with Coinbase at some places, but in reality, like they're making most of their money off of transactions. So unless Bitcoin goes up, then Coinbase is really not going to go up, because if Bitcoin goes up, that's pretty much implying that there's more volume coming into Bitcoin. And so more volume means more transactions, means more money. Coinbase goes up. That's pretty much like as simple as I trade Coinbase. Because if Bitcoin goes to zero, Coinbase goes to zero as well. Fucking done.
So where are you long from?
Jolts is long from 37, but he closed out 42. I'm not in a trade.
Oh,
I was in a short earlier, but I closed my short out. I closed my last short out at 43 quarter. And it went
when it was
down
coming
like,
back down before it.
yeah, and it kept going. Like I closed it before it made that 37 low. I didn't catch the full shebang.
And see if offer steps back in right here. If not, might run up.
NASDAQ point of control just moved up and we're holding above it, banging against the VWAP though. It's above the VWAP now though.
Held it.
Mechanical see high. See if they actually come down and offer though.
Yeah, that V shape on the 1 minute candles, I would expect them to come back and break that.
See if it gets back above 5/4. If it gets a bit above 5/4. It's trying. There it is. Ooh.
We'll be right back.
I think there's some news at 1300, but it's pretty not important. I don't know what the right term for that. For some reason, my brain is not thinking. Inconsequential. 1300. There's a oil rig info at 1300.
I don't think that will be much. Like,
I'm not thinking that's very likely to push things in one way or another. There we go.
Tried to offer 5/4 there. They got stuffed. How did that?
Oh, I finally did it. Are they gonna break the 30 or 47 quarter? 47, I guess that's what that was. I got in at 47, put my stop at 45 half. See where this goes. Stopped out. That did not go well.
I think 5/4's a little to watch.
Well, that was why I put it just above it. I figured if it was going to get to that level, I didn't want to be in.
Yeah, it might flush right through this 5/4.
But I wanted
So
to,
that's
but I wanted to try it at 47 to see if it would actually pop it. I mean, it seemed pretty strong when I got in. Well, when I was looking at it, I was already in the trade in Sim, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it,
yeah.
and it didn't quite go the way I wanted it
I
to.
took
So, oh well.
I took 2 losses on the 5/4, and then I finally caught that run up to 7/2.
Oh, nice.
But I took 2 quick losses first.
I've been
Wouldn't go.
playing both sides. I actually originally got in at like 42 in sim account 41 quarter and wrote it up. And so my stop was at 45 half in that account. And I was like, okay, I like this. And so it was kind of holding
Yeah.
and doing well at that level. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna jump in and see if it pans out.
So you made money on the 41.
Well, but that was in the sim account. So
Oh,
what I do at times is I'll take the sim trade to see how it plays out.
yeah.
So it was in a
Yeah.
much better position, obviously. But when I saw that it was holding and sort of going a little bit sideways, I was like, okay, I'll take it and see if it actually has the power to hold above it. It looked like it was at least moving up, but I was mistaken. That's why I had the tight stop.
Yeah, I'm getting chopped. I'm not getting chopped up. I took 5 trades. I'm at exactly 0. No, I'm at break even and down commissions,
Well, I
which
was
is no
in
big deal, but getting
Brad
chopped
and
up
I
a little
were
bit. What?
in pre-market, and I should have kept my stop in profit. I mean, it was a good entry. I was in at 44, and then my take profit would have been right there at what 43-ish, and then it came back up, and then that was when it shot up right when news happened. And then I ended up getting
Yeah.
back in after it shot up and wrote it down all the way to 39, and then I bailed. So I
Yeah.
made up for it, but well, I shouldn't say made up for it.
The
I made a
if
second
we
trade
didn't
that
have
was
that
decent.
news, oh sorry. If we
That
didn't
was it.
have that
Go.
news this morning, I was looking at, if it was holding below 44, 43, I wanted to short it. I expected it to go down to the lows, I guess, like test the lows,
Hmm.
if it broke
That's
down
that's what I
under
was
that.
thinking. That's why I got in at
Yeah.
44 and I wrote it down. I was expecting 39. But it hit that
Yeah.
resistance at 42 and it popped below, got to 41 1/4, and then of course the news hit and then it shot straight up to
Yeah.
54.
That's why I didn't get in, because the news, I fear the news will fuck everything up. If
Oh,
maybe,
what I
so
should have done is just have my stop in profit, and so that the news, if the news had hit, it wouldn't have mattered. But I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's going to get a little volatile. I was still expecting it to drop, which it did, but it shot up to 54 before it dropped, and I did not have my stop at 54.
Yeah.
That would not have been ideal. I wasn't willing to take a 10-point hit. I still think this 47 is a decent trade, but I need more conviction from it.
Yeah, if they've cleaned this level, then I'll trade through. If not, then we still got a long stuck at the top here.
I may be.
Looks like they should test at least 9.5. Fifth, maybe. As long as they hold it above this, like you said, 7.25. Got some shorts stuck down on 5 even. 5/4.
I should have stayed in that long and just dropped my stop a little lower. Oh well. Live and learn.
Where'd you get in and out at?
I got in at 47 when it was starting to look like it was breaking the C high, and it was pushing it, and it did. It broke higher, but I put my stop at 45.5. I just didn't. I didn't really want to see it get below it, and it only went what to 44.5. So I would have had another additional point. I mean, it is what it is. I'm unhappy. But whatever. Just meant I get to switch back to my $400 sim. See if I can get that thing to 2K before the end of the day.
2K?
So I created a sim account. I put $400 in it, and then I trade that account until I can get it to 2K. It reaches 2K. I reset it. I do it again.
But are you trading the ES in there or the MES?
Yes.
Oh. So you're high living that account big time. $400?
Yeah,
That's
but I
only
don't.
like
I
not even 10
don't
points.
really take a lot. I don't really take a lot of heat in it. I was already up from yesterday.
You're echoing.
The account was already up from yesterday, so it wasn't like. But I typically only take trades that I really, really believe in, just to see if I can. I mean, the objective is to teach myself to not be afraid to. This is that whole thing of playing the frickin' PA accounts.
So you're
So I'm
most of the
really
time managing risk quick, like you just did on this trade.
absolutely, that's exactly right. I have only, so I've reached 2K probably 10 or 12 times in the past 3 weeks, or two or 3 weeks, and I've blown it probably 3 times, where it goes down below $400 and I lose the account. One, then I have to reset it. But it's the conversation you and I have had multiple times is I have to accept the risk and I have to be willing to get out of a bad trade. And those are two things that I'm really struggling with. And my goal is with this is to teach me to do that. Because you can't play a $400 account on the ES unless you're unless you're doing those two things.
Yeah, true.
So
I don't think you could ever play a $400 account live on the ES. One trade and you
and I probably
lose.
wouldn't. I mean, but it's for me, it's like it's a test harness. It's teaching me how to do it and not, because I mean, again, so my biggest fear right now is I've got my in my eval accounts, I do pretty well. I do trading in that, and I seem to be doing very well in them for the most part. I'm not saying it's perfect, but what taking that same way I'm trading there and turning it into trading in my PA for me is very scary, and that's my problem. Is that I need to be able to translate that, and so this is my goal in figuring out how to get my brain to translate it. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying I had a little volume step in right there.
I'm not afraid to get into a trade in eval, but I am afraid to get into a trade in PA. That's the problem. And part of that is because I'm afraid that I'm going to do something stupid and move my stop far enough out that it shouldn't be and blow the account. So
Oh, excuse me.
oh shit.
I'm gonna go make some lunch, guys. I'll be back.